All of us know what chaos is. Storms and earthquakes, droughts and floods, fear, anxiety, dread, depression, poverty, injustice, corruption, failed relationships, broken systems. These are all elements and effects of chaos. And the list goes on. And we all have experienced and lived through chaos. We've all both been victims and perpetrators of this chaos. For many of us, chaos is the default setting in our lives. We don't really know any other reality. We're just becoming experts at managing the chaos. The author of the opening lines of the book of Genesis is very aware of this reality, which is why the book does not begin with perfection. It begins with chaos. Now the earth was formless and empty. In Hebrew, Tohu vavohu, words that could mean something like a desolation or a wasteland. The text goes on to read, and darkness was over the face of the deep. More descriptions depicting a reality that is absent of light, of life, a complete void without meaning or purpose. The next line reads, and the Spirit of God was hovering over the face of the waters. Now, waters in the ancient world was a paradoxical symbol. While on the one hand, water was life, water also symbolized chaos. Consider flooding and storms and deep seas. Gathered waters, then and now, are dangerous and destructive. This is quite the description of reality at the beginning of this story. The opening scene of this book depicts this world as dysfunctional, dark, absent of purpose, desolate, utter and complete chaos. This reality is not good. But let's read that last line again. And the Spirit of God hovered over the face of the waters. Now, the Hebrew word for spirit there is the word ruach, which could mean wind or breath, which is a beautiful image since God is about to speak creation into being. And that spirit, that wind, that breath was hovering. In Hebrew, merachefet, over the face of the waters. This word for hover is found only 3 times in the Hebrew scriptures. Listen to how it is used in Deuteronomy chapter 32. In a desert land he found him, in a barren and howling waste. He shielded him and cared for him. He guarded him as the apple of his eye, like an eagle that stirs up its nest and hovers over its young, that spreads its wings to catch them and carries them aloft. Here, the word hover is about caring for, protecting, and guarding the life that is emerging underneath its wings. And the word waste used here in Deuteronomy is the word tohu, the same word used in the utter and complete chaos of the opening lines of Genesis 1. And so, with poetic, symbolic resonance, we see the picture that over a desert land, a barren and howling waste, over the darkness of the deep, over the chaos of the waters, the Spirit and breath of God is there, hovering, guarding, protecting, and caring for the life that is beginning to emerge. In other words, this story is about a God who incubates new life out of the chaos. In fact, chaos may actually be the very stuff of creation. Now, it is also important to point out what is not in this text. This story doesn't seem to care at all about explaining why the chaos is there in the first place. It doesn't offer any trite explanation, no mythology regarding the source of the chaos. Genesis simply recognizes its existence turns its attention toward what can be birthed out of the chaos. There is no blaming or shaming in this creation story. There is only creation, the hovering of the Spirit of God over the waters, and the incubation of new life out of the chaos. Whenever tragedy happens, whether that be a natural disaster, a crippling disease, or a tragic loss, there is still within us the nagging impulse to find someone or something to blame for that chaos. And I'm sure we could all think of a moment when we ourselves were the victims of that shame. It is to that experience that this Genesis story speaks. This phrase, the Spirit of God hovering over the face of the waters, is a remarkable foundation in this creation narrative. Rather than shaming, this God transforms the disorganized, barren, and desolate chaos into a meaningful and purposeful creation. All of us know what chaos is. This story is written to help us know hope and redemption and the presence of the wind, breath, and Spirit of God in and through the chaos. That chaos can be transformed and new life can be incubated out of it, like an eagle hovering over its young.